I want to talk about The Shape of Water. The Shape of Water is the latest movie from the world's favorite teddy bear, Guillermo Del Toro, and tells the story of Eliza Esposito, a mute janitor working at a government research facility during the Cold War. While on the job, she meets a humanoid amphibian creature that was brought to the facility in order for America to study its anatomy so that they can perfect their attempts at space travel. And over the course of the movie, the two form a close bond and start to fall in love with each other. The movie was initially inspired by one of Del Toro's favorites, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, a movie that he initially wanted to remake for Universal Studios in a similar tone as Shape went. But because Universal Studios was so determined to make that at the time dark universe a thing, they turned him down. Which is ironic, because what the majority of the Universal monster movies are for a majority of the people who are fans of them pretty much echo the same tones and feelings that were found in The Shape of Water. The one clip that led up to Marilyn Monroe's most famous image in her movie The 7-Year Itch illustrates that point exactly about the Gill Man.
Didn't you just love the picture? I did, but I just felt so sorry for the creature at the end.
Sorry for the creature? Why'd you want him to marry the girl?
He was kind of scary looking, but he wasn't really all bad. I think he just craved a little affection, you know, a sense of being loved and needed and wanted.
That's a very interesting point of view.
But with where we are as a society, that point of view just isn't an interesting one anymore. It's actually accurate to a lot of people, me included. You see, while The Shape of Water took place during the Cold War, it also took place during the Civil Rights Movement. Segregation, racism, and homophobia were commonplace, even in certain areas in the North. And for a lot of people over the course of time, the monsters and monster movies were the perfect allegory for what it meant to be queer, a person of color, or both in America. The monster movie episode from the 4th season of Supernatural, I believe, sums it up pretty nicely.
I just love the movies.
They aren't real. You can't make them real.
Real is being born this way. Different. Real is having your dad call you monster. It's the first time you hear the word. And he tries to beat you to death with a shovel. Everywhere I ran, everywhere I tried to hide, people found me, dragged me up, attacked me, called me freak, called me monster. Then I found them. The great monsters. In their movies, they were strong, they were feared. They were beautiful.
Soon over time, that sense of relatability to monsters for some of us grew to that of attraction in multiple ways. Now, I've definitely talked about what it means to have fictional crushes in one of my very earlier videos, but I only really talked about why it's okay to have them, not necessarily why we do. Especially if some of them are what society deem are monstrous. And that's what I want to explore here in this video, being both a queer man and a person of color myself. But I realize that in this instance, I can only speak for myself. So if I'm going to explain how I started to fall in love with monsters, I'm going to have to start from the very beginning, with a tale as old as time. When it comes to Beast, or Prince Adam according to the fan canon, some would say there really isn't anything to like about his personality until after he saves Belle from the wolves. And that's fair, I'm not going to deny that. A lot of what I find attractive about Beast outside of his overall aesthetic is his want to impress and just his general awkwardness.
So if you hadn't have run away, this wouldn't have happened.
If you hadn't frightened me, I wouldn't have run away.
God damn it, Beast, stop being so fucking cute. But all those likable things about Beast become unearthed once he gets past the point of hopelessness that he was wallowing in since he was first transformed. Some of it even rears its ugly head in the song Something There.
No, it can't be. I'll just ignore. But then she's never looked at me that way before.
But you can see that he's steadily getting over that mindset, and him overcoming it is just as important as the final result. The same goes for us. We may not have been cursed per se, but suffering from depression and loneliness, having these preconceived opinions about what society thinks of you, is a chip on a lot of the shoulders of people of color and the LGBT community. And it varies in weight depending on your upbringing and your overall experience with life in general. And they come in all different forms: bullies, teachers, supervisors, parents. Which is why Sully from the Disney Pixar Monsters movies also made it to my list of monster crushes.
Slumber party.
In Monsters University, he comes from a prestigious background of monsters and has a lot of expectations to live up to. His teachers, his parents, his future. All because he was born a Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm a Sullivan. I'm the Sullivan who flunked every test. The one who got kicked out of the program. The one who was so afraid to let everyone down that I cheated. And I lied. Mike, I'll never know how you feel. But you're not the only failure here. I act scary, Mike. But most of the time, I'm terrified.
It takes time and dedication, but he's able to get past all of the expectations in order to make a name for himself. In doing so, he reveals another aspect of his character when he's confronted with something that his society has taught him for years was incredibly taboo and dangerous. Love.
Goodbye, Boo.
Kitty.
Kitty has to go.
And that in itself strikes a chord with me with how monsters in monster movies, or just monstrous characters in general, are not only portrayed, but how those of us with these appreciations for the characters gained them in the first place. We've grown up in a society where movies, television, and other forms of media have it ingrained in our brains that things work a certain way, whether or not it was intentional. With the exception of like Rugrats and a handful of other forms of media, there has been for the longest time a formula pumped into movies and television that we have adapted as the norm that shouldn't be questioned. Doug's ability to subconsciously teach introverted boys on how to handle life, and especially crushes, was pretty much my social bible when I was a kid who thought he only liked girls.
It's not a date, it's not a date, it's not a date, it's not a date.
Hey, Doug! Hurry or we'll miss the show!
Hey, Patty. She's dressed up. Okay, it's a date.
Then we find out that we're different, and we don't necessarily fit into that bubble that they want to form for us. The TV specials that talk about what happens when you like somebody who has either darker or fairer skin than you only come on television like once every February. Cartoons for the girl who likes girls or the boy who likes boys either don't exist or they do exist, but the episodes that feature that content aren't only available in Canada.
Nick, if you're trying to find out if I'm gay, it's okay to just ask.
So when I see that scene from Creature from the Black Lagoon, where the creature is mimicking the woman swimming in his home as a sense of admiration, or watch Peter Jackson's 2005 remake of King Kong when I see Anne and Kong just being lovey-dovey shitlords on the ice in Central Park, I think about the societal differences between what I'm currently seeing on screen versus what I was brought up to believe. Kong and Anne's connection goes against everything society stood for, especially at the time. A lot could be applied to it due to the fact that it was set in 1933, an interracial relationship between a black man and a white woman, two men or two women that have grown incredibly close and want to share a moment of bliss together. Kong, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and other monsters represented these aspects of society that weren't touched on before and allowed us to insert ourselves as the monster. Or, in cases like this and The Shape of Water, insert ourselves as the person the monster is smitten by. Hello?
Hey, so I got a ping on my King Kong app that King Kong was being discussed in this video, so I wanted to see if I could get in on this.
Oh! Actually...
I mean, here's the thing. You got cut into my video. It's my turn.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Okay, so another interesting thing about the evolution of Kong is not only the evolution of Anne's relationship to the monster as a man-animal hybrid, but her relationship to a being that is effectively just a big animal. The original Kong was designed to have a more human affect, to represent a more missing link being, but not 05 Kong. But also interesting is the evolution of Anne's relationship to the striping white hero the not Kong has evolved, and what his place is in the love triangle. In the original movie, the strapping hero was they're not so thinly veiled misogynist, then he was a crunching know-it-all, and then in the 05 version, he's a sensitive writer who cares about her feelings. But in all of these cases, the heteronormative good romance is pure function. It takes a total backseat between the relationship, whatever it may be, between Anne and Kong. In the 1933 version, it is one-sided lust for a white woman. In the 1976 version, it's kind of mutual. Kind of. But then by 2005, by making Kong much more of an animal and not really human at all, he is completely desexualized. And so the result is that in this version, Anne and Kong's bond is almost like childlike empathy. That's all I wanted to add. You may continue.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, there was just some stuff I wanted to say about King Kong, because I like talking about King Kong, and you brought it up. And, besides, there's like some stuff I gotta go take care of.
Do some of those involve Starscream?
No. There is no evidence of such things. Person who is now on speakerphone, bye.
Well then. It's actually funny Lindsay mentioned empathy when it came to Peter Jackson's King Kong, because it actually plays a critical role not only in the story of The Shape of Water, but also adds a factor as far as why some of us become attracted to monsters in the first place. You see, regarding my own journey about coming into terms with my own sexuality and my own sense of blackness, regarding monsters, I realized that I had a type. Those of you who've been watching me regularly kind of have an idea on what that type is. And while the amphibian man in The Shape of Water isn't necessarily mine, it doesn't mean I don't understand Eliza's attraction to him overall. In essence, it's what we all want, and not just our significant others, but from our friends, our family, our co-workers, the world. Regardless of who we are, what our nationality is, what we look like, and who we love, we want to be looked at the same way Eliza describes the amphibian man looking at her to her navel guiles.
When he looks at me, the way he looks at me, he does not know what I lack or how I am incomplete. He sees me for what I am, as I am.
Monsters do it for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. Some people are just in it to see them fight, hunt, or be an antagonist for the hero. Others, on the other hand, look at them as a reflection of themselves. And then there are some of us who, when they see that reflection, see all that isolation, fear, pain, growth, and the want to be accepted and loved, feel compelled to just reach out and grab it by the hand, or claw, or paw, and let them know that we're here. For aiding me and lending me her expertise on the matter, I want to give a quick yet sincere thank you to Lindsay Ellis, aka the chick formerly known as Nostalgia. So be sure to check her out. Her video essays are top-notch, and I would be lying if I'd said that they weren't the inspiration for the reason why I decided to go this angle for this video. And as you heard earlier, my face, in fact, may be in one of said video essays. So with that being said, readers, your homework assignment for the day. If you're someone like Lindsay and I, write in the comment section below a monster or a creature that over the course of time you found out you had the hots for. And if that doesn't apply to you, but you still want to share with the rest of the class, then write down in the comment section below a character, a concept, or a situation in fiction that deeply related to you on a personal level. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.